All right, we're back again for another what? What? We're back again for another exciting update over on my CR500 VV channel, and I hate this seatbelt. Every time I'm in this car and I'm recording a video, you've seen me yell at this seatbelt and get upset with it. It's once again a classic seatbelt without the rewinder in it, or unwinder, or winder, or whatever the heck you want to call it. So you have to adjust the straps, and if something gets tangled, then it just doesn't pull out. Anyway, we're in the Volkswagen Fastback doing another update, right, Skeeter? Why are you off the camera, huh? We're over here. She's going for a ride with me today. Probably going to be a relatively short ride. It's about 50 degrees this morning, so it's a little chilly out. Just a little. Kind of comfortable, but chilly. Nonetheless, this car doesn't have a choke on it, so it's a little difficult to not only start, but to keep it running, so I got to play with it a little bit. So it'll be just a minute before we get rolling. A couple things we want to discuss. Once again, I've been busy with work. I'm actually making some money and things are happening, so I have not been able to do updates on some of the car projects and things that I've been wanting to. Also, the CR500 hasn't been touched, and I've been promising people, you know, like next week, and it's been like 3 weeks and I haven't touched the thing. I feel kind of bad about it. Why? Where you going? We had freezing temperatures the other night. It was down in the low 20s. I'm sure it's colder where you're at. Everybody always says, oh, it's colder where I'm at. I don't care. Guess what? I used to live up north. I've ridden a motorcycle in negative 17. I know what cold is, okay? So, you know, piss off. This is actually pretty good. It warmed up pretty fast today. You can start rolling right away. Whoa. Helps if you put it in gear all the way. Yeah, we're rolling, we're off to work, so it's going to be a relatively short trip. I may take the scenic route just because. Let's see here. Some traffic coming up behind me. I need to adjust the rear brakes on this thing too, because I have to pump it about twice to get a firm brake pedal. There's no air in it, because I bled them myself. But the rear brakes are drums, and they don't have an automatic adjustment on them. So they need to be snugged up periodically. There we go, we're rolling. And I forgot to throw my trash away. I got so much junk mail this week that I threw it here in the car the last time I drove the car, and I forgot to throw it away. So it's sitting on the floor in here, and I need to ditch that. I meant to throw that in my trash can, because today's trash day. But oh well. On the way to work, I've got that automatic transmission that came out of that dune buggy that you guys have been seeing me working on over on CR500 VV. We pulled out the automatic transmission and put in a manual transmission, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the automatic transmission. I do have that yellow Karmann Ghia that needs both an engine and a transmission, and now on the side in the garage underneath a pile of parts is an engine, and now I have an automatic transmission. Volkswagen automatic transmission, which are relatively rare. There aren't too many of those that were built. They only went into specific buses and certain Type 3s. They didn't go in much else. Nonetheless, I've got one, and it does not fit into a Karmann Ghia or a Beetle, but I have that Karmann Ghia, and I think I might make it fit. I have to do a little bit of cutting to the frame horns to make that transmission drop in between. But the length of the transmission is nearly identical to the stock manual transmission, so I think if I do a little cutting to the frame horns, I could probably get it dropped in there. I'll put that video, I'll put a video of that with this, so you'll see the both of them today in this video. I'll discuss it. Behind me is a yellow 1971 Volkswagen Karmann Ghia that I picked up almost exactly a year ago. It was Thanksgiving of 2013. When I got it, it had a complete interior and everything, absolutely no rust. I mean, this car has no rust at all. But there was no engine or transmission in here. You see what we got. I got a good deal on it. but it needs to have those parts put in. Now, of course, I've got everything I need to finish this car, but I thought that maybe I should be shifting gears with some of the things that I have. Over here, we've got an automatic transmission for a Volkswagen, which, as you can see next to the manual transmission on this side, is much bigger. It's definitely much bigger, so I don't know that it'll fit between those frame horns that are on that Karmann Ghia. In fact, I know it won't fit between the frame horns. This pan on the bottom of the automatic transmission is just way too wide. So it's going to require some modification if I decide to put that in there. The good news is both transmissions are about 23¼ inches long, give or take 1/8 of an inch. So if I could get this transmission to fit between the frame horns, I should be able to get the motor mounted in the stock position, which means I'll have an automatic Karmann Ghia with using all Volkswagen parts. Talk about rarest of the rare. Of course, it was never built that way by OEM, but there's no reason why I could not tie that all together. So we'll see what happens if I wind up keeping that car. I don't know that I will or I won't. If I keep it, I'll put a manual transmission in it. If it goes off to somebody else, I'll see if they want to go with the automatic. But it's interesting looking at these transmissions. One of the first things that I notice is that the CV flanges are much bigger on the automatic transmission than they are on the manual. They actually use bus CV joints, whereas the bus or bug transmission on the right here uses the smaller ones for a Beetle. So using this transmission, I will actually use bus axles and CV joints and change out the axle with the larger bus CV joint axle that goes into the back of a bug or a Karmann Ghia. Should do the trick. Another thing that's noticed is that the transmission on the manual is somewhat centered, and the CV joints look like they're equally spaced. Whereas on the automatic transmission, you'll see the CV joint is much closer on the right-hand side than it is on the left. The left is way offset, so the axle on the left side is going to be shorter than the one on the right. I've actually got a set of axles that appear to be exactly the right length, with the CV joints already on them. So this could be not quite a slam dunk, but almost a drop-in. I've got pretty much all the parts to do it. I just need to do the work to actually cut those frame horns and get that engine and transmission mounted. And show the frame horns one more time so you know what I'm talking about. For those of you non-Volkswagen guys, see those two things sticking out there? Those are the frame horns. And the distance between the frame horns is what would be the problem, because the automatic transmission is much wider than that. So there have to be a little bit of cutting and modification, particularly up towards the front area up in here, to get the transmission pan to drop in. I have seen it done before, so I know I could probably handle it. I mean, there's not going to be all that much welding. It's probably going to be a lot more cutting than anything else. And then what I'll probably do is put what they call a traction bar to tie everything together in the back, and then use the stock transmission mounts, which are... Damn garbage trucks are loud over here. Automatic transmission mounts are on the top, whereas the Beetle transmission mounts are on the bottom. So I'll have to rig up something custom for that. Again, I'll tie the whole rear end together from the shock towers, the frame horns, the whole works, and actually hang the transmission from the top using a frame that I'll build around it. So we'll see if this is something I decide to do. I think it'd be kind of a neat idea, because how many automatic, fully automatic Karmann Ghias do you see on the road? Not those semi-automatic slush pump cars that they had, where you still shift the gears, but you don't have a clutch. In this case, it'll be fully automatic, so you just drop the thing in drive and hit the gas and go. So anyway, that's a thought right here. It's just neat seeing that this stuff is almost exactly the same length. And that was the big thing. I mean, it just had to fit in there lengthwise. Otherwise, I'd have to cut into the torsion bars, and at that point, the whole rear suspension collapses. And that's just not a good idea. Might be doable. Open for suggestions if anybody thinks I should do it or not. Go ahead and comment. I haven't touched really any of my motorcycles in almost a month. Just, I don't know, they ran out of gas. I was going to repaint the SV650, so I figured when it runs out of gas, no problem, I'll just drain the little bit that's left in the bottom of the tank, and then go ahead and just take the whole bike apart and paint it. And that just never happened. So the bike has been sitting with no gas in it for about a month, so I need to either paint it, it's too cold now to do that anyway, or gas it back up and start riding it again. So we'll see what happens, hopefully in the near future. It's black with a polished aluminum frame, and I'm thinking I want to go white and just do something a little bit different. You don't see too many white SV650s, so I thought I might give that a shot. So we might white it out. What do you think, Skeeter? Huh? What are you doing? Why are you quiet? Are you upset? Daddy forgot your food. Oh, Daddy's in trouble. Forgot to bring her food with me to work today. I just realized that now. I use a peanut butter jar, a big peanut butter jar that I fill up with her food, and I take that to work, and I usually have to refill it once a week. And it has her ducky food pellets in it. And it was time to refill it yesterday, and guess what? I forgot to bring it with me this morning. Well, she ate just before we left, so she'll be good for a few hours at least. It's kind of late in the morning anyway. So I go to work. Being a business owner, I get to go to work whenever I feel like it. That's kind of a nice perk. Speaking of work, every time that I think I'm going to jump into a career change or something, and I'm thinking of going and becoming either, you know, a mechanic or a bike customization guy or some kind of crap, just something other than the computers and internet stuff that I've been doing for the past 20 years. Something always pulls me back into the computer and internet. Something always just pulls me right back. And in this case, I've gotten another opportunity. I'm not going to get into too many of the specifics because, of course, I'd be full of shit if none of it happens. But with that said, I've got a good opportunity where I can make a little more money, still work for myself, and contract out my services to another much larger business, which is something I've been doing all along anyway, but it's been with smaller businesses around town. But this is going to be a much bigger mega conglomerate thing, so we'll see how that works out, if it's going to work out, or if I'm even going to do it. I don't know. If the money is there, and it's a comfortable environment, why wouldn't I? Alright, we're almost to work. Gotta throttle it. Got traffic coming up behind us. 25, 30, 35, 37, and we gotta turn. Alright, here we are at the office. Another successful video update. What you doing, Skeeter? That's right. So make sure you subscribe to CR500 VV, DuckmanCycles, Skeeter the Duck, and if you'd like to see some of my crappy videos that don't make the cut, but are good enough for uploading anyway, have a look at DuckTuber. Thanks, you guys. See you next week.